Coming up tonight on the news at 6. A federal judge clears a path for cleaning up Butte mine waste and ending the city's status as a Superfund site. Plus, Helena Public Schools updates the rules for families wanting to watch their student athletes.
From Montana's news leader, this is MTN News at 6.
Ian Davidson, thanks for joining us. Well, with Western senators leading the charge, even as millions of acres burn, momentum appears to be building for a bipartisan bill which could make sweeping changes in forest management. As MTN's Dennis Bragg reports, it's a package of reforms which could make a difference if the congressional agreement can extend beyond the Capitol.
With smoke from the West Coast wildfires blanketing the U.S. and fires still raging, a subcommittee of the Senate Energy and Natural Resources Committee tackles reforms hammered out over the past year.
We have to change our approach in dealing with wildfire and how we manage our forests. We can't just sit here and do nothing.
The Emergency Wildlife and Public Safety Act of 2020 is spearheaded by Feinstein and Montana Senator Steve Daines, growing out of recent big fire seasons.
We're at a critical time. The West is burning. People are dying. The smoke literally starting to cover our country and our way of life as we know it's in danger. We can't run to our corners. We can't continue to fall to partisan politics. It's a time to come together, Democrats and Republicans, and pass meaningful forestry reform.
Yes, climate change is making these fires worse by the year, and we've got to address it. Our bill takes aim at the direct, most immediate causes of this unprecedented series of wildfires.
The bill includes several key action items. A $100 million grant program to make harvesting dead and dying trees commercially viable, developing community fire breaks with expedited environmental reviews, a prescribed fire center, and making buildings more fire resistant.
Years of insufficient forest management have turned the West into a tinderbox. There are many factors that make wildfire spread, but regular fuel reduction is a critical and indisputable strategy to prevent wildfires of this magnitude.
These are not your grandfather's fires. They are bigger, they're hotter, they're more dangerous, they're more powerful.
A point everyone agrees on, but time will tell whether the proposed action plan can be enacted and supported outside of fire season. Dennis Bragg, MTN News.
A federal judge approved a Superfund cleanup plan for Butte. The approval of the consent decree secures more than $150 million worth of cleanup work from the Atlantic Richfield Company. Under the agreement, contaminated tailings at the North Side and Diggings East area, as well as along Silverbow and Blacktail Creeks, will be removed. It includes more treatment of stormwater and groundwater, and it sets aside 120 acres for parks and greenways in the mining city. The approval means the order is enforceable by the court and aims to start the process removing the area's Superfund status by 2024. And now it's time for First Weather with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grebenitz.
Well, the smoke and air quality continue to be an issue here, not only for Montana, but for many areas across the West. Good news is that a lot of the Montana fires not showing a lot of activity here. We're not seeing exponential growth. However, it still is smoky. A lot of that smoke coming from wildfires into Idaho and, of course, Washington, Oregon, and California. This area of low pressure continues to steer a lot of that smoke right up into the state, but eventually that low may help us come this weekend, not just Montana, but a few of the states throughout the West. And check this out. Wildfire smoke from the west now has crossed the pond and is being seen in parts of Europe. Wow. Forecast headlines. Yeah, that air, it still stinks, and it's going to stink for a little while longer. Talk more about a wetter west that could help get some rain on some of those wildfires. And this weekend, a little sunnier on Sunday as opposed to Saturday. More in the forecast coming up.
Well, new today, Helena Public Schools released updates to their spectator plan. Home student athletes will continue to get 2 spectator passes. Those 2 passes will now be transferable to any immediate family member, including parents, step-parents, and siblings. The district announced each visiting student athlete will also get one spectator pass, allowing each event to stay within the 250 spectator cap set by state guidelines. Visiting teams have to provide pass lists before any out-of-town fans are admitted to a Helena Schools activity, and all spectators have to follow social distancing and other rules set by Helena Public Schools. And starting this week, the state of Montana will post information online about positive COVID-19 cases in schools. Governor Steve Bullock made the announcement at a press conference today. Data will be provided on all K-12 and higher education schools in the state, including private institutions. The school's name, number of positive cases, and county it is in will be included. However, there will be no reporting on schools that have under 10 students attending in order to protect privacy.
This is a system that protects student data in small schools while also providing a basic level of information and the transparency and the trust that parents in our community need.
The data will be reported every Wednesday on the DPHHS website. OPI Superintendent Elsie Arnson criticized the move on social media, saying it would increase the risk of exposing personally identifiable medical information. The American Heart Association launched the Mission Lifeline Stroke Initiative, a program to expand and strengthen stroke care in Montana. Part of the initiative, a 3-year grant of $4.8 million from the Helmsley Charitable Trust. The focus? Providing better stroke care for those in rural areas and enhancing stroke care by reinforcing evidence-based guidelines. According to the association, cardiovascular disease is the leading cause of death in the United States, and strokes are the 5th most preventable cause of death in Montana, with more than 1,800 strokes annually, accounting for nearly 420 deaths. One Montana neurologist said he's seen firsthand how grants like this one make a huge impact.
I've also had the honor of taking care of and meeting so many stroke survivors. Many of them have been treated with really life-saving and disability-saving medications like IV TPA acutely in these small critical access hospitals because of grants like this that allow us to provide education and resources for these places.
In 2018, the Helmsley Charitable Trust provided a $4.6 million grant to support the launch of a Mission Lifeline program aimed at reducing treatment times in cases of the most serious types of heart attacks. Democratic gubernatorial candidate Mike Cooney reported his latest fundraising numbers, and they are no small potatoes. Cooney, who's locked in a close battle with Republican Greg Gianforte, said he raised $670,000 in the past month. That pushes his campaign fundraising total to $2.5 million, including $1.4 million in the past 3 months. Still, Gianforte is the fundraising leader with $2.8 million from donors as of mid-August and adding $2.5 million of his own money to the campaign. Montana's governor contest is considered the most competitive governor race in the nation. Recent polls show Gianforte with a single-digit lead, but Cooney released his own poll this month, showing him trailing by 1 point. Gianforte will be releasing his monthly fundraising totals later this week. The gubernatorial contest also includes Libertarian Lyman Bishop of Kalispell. And are you looking for more stories and resources on the 2020 election? Download the KTVH app on streaming devices like Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire, or Android television. You can watch fact checks of the campaign ads and other stories on demand. And if you missed this weekend's Secretary of State candidate debate, you can watch an encore presentation tonight and tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. For detailed instructions on downloading and installing the app, go to ktvh.com/streaming. And still ahead on the news at 6, the Montana Lottery's sports betting program brings in big bucks with the return of NFL football.
From Montana's news leader, you're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back to the news at 6. Legal sports betting in Montana has not been putting out the numbers people thought it would due to the COVID-19 shutdown. But as the state and country reopen, there have been significant increases in betting. And as MTN's John Riley found with the NFL kickoff, they're now seeing hundreds of thousands of dollars bet every week.
Sportsbet Montana has already seen more than $5 million bet on professional sports since the service launched this spring. While baseball was a great hit for the service, the NFL has proven to be the real offensive drive.
This is probably the most popular sport in Montana. So we knew football was going to be a big deal, and it is. We're so glad that it's back.
For the opening weekend of the NFL, $189,000 was wagered on professional football in Montana, representing 52% of total money bet on sports in Big Sky country that week. Montana Lottery believes it will only continue to grow, with around $500,000 being bet each week by the end of the season. Of the $5 million Sportsbet Montana has brought in so far, $4.5 million have been paid out to winners. All of the money coming in and out of Sportsbet Montana is only from bets made in-state in Montana businesses.
The take is we get 12% of handle. 6 of it goes right back to those small businesses, which is huge, and we all see the value of it now as these businesses are working really hard to be successful right now, and we are really happy that Sportsbet Montana can be part of how they are successful.
As of September 16th, more than $364,000 has been paid to Montana businesses that offer sports wagering, a number that will only increase as the NFL season continues on. Reporting in Helena, John Riley, MTN News.
All right, let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz with what's coming up in weather.
A little wet weather, perhaps, as we go through Friday, Saturday into Sunday. Not a ton of rain, but anything will help. More on the forecast coming up next.
Storm Tracker weather starts now with Chief Meteorologist Curtis Grevenitz.
All right, welcome back, everybody. A little better air quality for parts of the state today. East Glacier, it says moderate air quality around this area, but can't really see much here. Helena, we've just gone to unhealthy for sensitive groups. We're at moderate for most of the day, but yeah, you can just tell the air is not that good. 73 degrees, pretty comfortable day. Great Falls, upper 60s right now. And yep, this isn't a picture of Kansas behind you. This should be Montana, and you should be able to see the Highwood Mountains there, but obscured by smoke once again. Now, last night there was a little front that came into the state here, and that did bring somewhat cleaner air here for many areas east of the divide. But look at that, west of the divide, still pretty nasty for the Flathead and Bitterroot valleys here. And there's that boundary. Look at the temperatures too. Butte at 78 degrees, significantly warmer than Helena and Great Falls, but cleaner and cooler to the north of that boundary, a little warmer and smokier south of that boundary. And that boundary is pushed right up against the Continental Divide, and that's why west of the divide we're under an air quality warning, although not the best air east of the divide. And for Friday, this is a fire weather watch, a precursor to a red flag warning, and this could have impacts, likely will have impacts on that State Creek fire that is burning to the southwest of Boulder there, but really nothing on the radar. Once again, believe it or not, you couldn't tell, but believe it or not, there really weren't any clouds in the sky today. It was all smoke. Some updates on the fires, not much new. No news is good news for the most part on the Bridger Foothills fire. Containment up to 77%. No growth, no real activity. State Creek fire, no real activity. However, again, this one may get going again as we get into Friday as the winds pick up. 50% relative containment on that one there. The Drumming fire, no real growth or activity on that fire. How about the Cinnabar fire? This one has been around for a few weeks, but we're up to 67% containment. No real activity on that. Or the Bear Creek fire for a while. This was the biggest fire in the state, 12,000 acres. 85% contained, and again, not much activity on that. Really on any of Montana's wildfires. Most of the smoke that you could smell coming from big fires into Idaho. There's an 80,000 acre fire that continues to chug out a lot of smoke, and then of course a lot of that smoke in the upper levels of the atmosphere coming from Washington, Oregon, and California. How about what was Hurricane Sally now moving through the southeastern part of the country with as much as 2 feet of rain falling in a day. Just imagine that, and here we are in thick smoke. Smoke again for tomorrow, for Friday, but finally, as we get into the weekend, that low pressure is on the move here, and the smoke will come down. The air quality will improve as we go through Saturday into Sunday, but Look at this, kind of heading back into Monday, still looking at some smoke when the flow returns back to the southwest, transporting some of that smoke from out-of-state wildfires back here into Montana. So as far as future trek goes, look at some of this rain though. Coastal sections, Washington and Oregon, the Cascades. That is great news for us here in Montana, for a lot of people throughout the West. That storm will spread a few showers and thunderstorms late Friday night into western Montana. And then how about this on Saturday? Scattered showers, a few rumbles of thunder. Sunday, it's mainly the northern tier early on before that system moves out. And we'll likely have a little better air quality Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday before Wednesday flow switches back to the southwest. Forecast for tonight, lows down into the 40s here for many locations. This morning we were in the 30s, so not quite as cool. And here's the forecast for Thursday. For tomorrow, smoky skies, highs in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. For Friday, here comes that storm. A little warmer here, going up into the 80s. For Saturday, low pressure zips right across the state. Scattered showers and thunderstorms cleaning up some of the air. And then Sunday, the rain moving out of northeast Montana. It will be a blustery day with a little more sunshine through the afternoon. There you can see the 7-day forecast for Helena, taking all the way into fall next week. Not much change for the next season as smoky skies likely return.
Coming up on the news at 6, newly released report details fatal mistakes surrounding the Boeing 737 MAX.
Montana's news leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
Welcome back. The House Transportation Committee released its final report on the Boeing 737 MAX. The committee found that 737 MAX crashes that killed 346 people were due to a, quote, horrific culmination of failures by the Boeing and Federal Aviation Administration. The 239-page report found faulty technical assumptions by Boeing's engineers, a lack of transparency on the part of Boeing's management, and grossly insufficient oversight by the FAA. Boeing said in a statement after the report's release that it is, quote, dedicated to doing the work necessary. The FAA said that it looks forward to working with the committee to implement improvements identified in its report. And Alaska Airlines announced a deal to encourage people to get back into the air, but there are some catches. It says people who book a flight with them today only can get a second seat on the same flight, basically for free. The third seat in the row will be empty as part of its COVID-19 safety precautions. Also, this one-day deal requires travel by October 31st. People will still pay the taxes and fees on the second seat. And when we come back, we'll wrap things up here on the News at 6.
News leader. You're watching MTN News at 6.
All right, well, here is a dynamite deal for you. You could be the new owner of a Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton. All you need is about $6 to $8 million, and Stan, the T-Rex, can be all yours. He's an oldie but a goodie, and I do mean old. Stan walked the earth some 67 million years ago. His skeleton will be displayed at Christie's in New York before he's auctioned off on October 6th. He's a big fella, so make sure you have enough room for him. Stan is 13 feet tall, 40 feet long, and made up of 188 bones. And make no bones about it, he is quite the looker. As one of the largest and most complete T-Rex skeletons in the world, the first of Stan's bones were found in parts of North and South Dakota and right here in Montana. Scientists have been studying him for the past 2 decades, and now it's time for him to go to his forever home. And that home could be yours. And thanks for making us a part of your evening. If you missed any of these stories, make sure to download the KTVH app on your Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, or Amazon Fire streaming device. You can see a rebroadcast of this newscast in just a few minutes or view these stories on demand. Thanks again for watching. We'll be back here with your latest headlines tonight at 10.